There may be difficult days and there may be difficult circumstances, but through it all, here at Hope Street, I've found that my faith, more than ever, is rock solid.
I had a very successful business career for a lot of years, well into my mid-40s. Was traveling internationally and was functioning, but alcohol had really become a major problem in my life.
I got married when I was 18 years old to Lenita Smith. And through this union, I had 6 children with her. I began to use heroin a couple of years afterwards. And then later, I was arrested for selling heroin to an undercover officer.
Alcoholics understand the struggle. People who aren't alcoholics have a very difficult time understanding relapse and the ongoing struggle you have with alcohol.
I basically was a salesman. I left Milwaukee in '85, went down to Fort Lauderdale, and then came back here in 2002. And still continued basically to take a lot of pain pills.
There's been many days that I wanted to spend time with my children because I love my children dearly, but I love the heroin more. I love chasing it down and putting it up my nose.
The lowest point in my life was when I lost my job cab driving, and I was so addicted to the pills, I realized it was time to end it.
I had finally gotten to a point after all the years of drinking, not drinking, I knew that the way I was trying it wasn't working, and people even in AA would say to me, you have to have God in your life, and I would say, I can do this without God. And then I realized I couldn't do it without God's help.
I was so lost in his addiction that my children was deeply affected by it, and it had them lost. I believe at this time of my life that God, I felt that he was very ashamed of me. But I know he kept me.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me.
I feel like I'm down here at Hope Street because I was actually chose to be here by the grace of God. And so I try and be that conduit, but in the end I know that I'm not doing anything that any man couldn't do. It's that God in his grace draws us to him and heals us.
I knew that my health was deteriorating, and by the grace of God, people at Hope Street, people associated with Hope Street, cared enough about me to help me. And it was only by the grace of God that that happened.
I think of God's grace being unimaginable. No words can explain the mercy that he has through grace for someone that is down and out, that's feeling like they have no way out, that's feeling like they're in the bottom of that barrel. It is God's grace that digs deep down in there and pulls you out. And that grip is love, that grip is Jesus Christ. That's what God's grace is.
My walk with Christ now, I believe, is very good for the 6 months I've been doing it, considering for the first 60 years, I wasn't walking with nobody but me. And I want my relationship with God to be rock solid because I really want to know in my heart and mind that when I do die here, I am going for eternal life in heaven. I don't want to even think that there's a chance that I would go to hell. And I think by repenting my sins and really believing in Jesus that that has happened in this 6 months of Hope Street.
The Lord
hope in Hope Street is the relationship with Jesus that comes through relationships with men and women in the building, but the hope at the end of the day is Jesus.
The hope at Hope Street is just that. There is always hope, and there's someone there that cares about you.
Hope means a way out. It means a light at the end of that tunnel. My relationship with my children is so strong now because they see somebody that's new, and that's who they want in their life. I give all glory to the Lord.
I don't think I've ever valued prayer the way that I do since coming down here, and that's a real gift too. I pray for these men every day. I pray for them on my way down here. I think that's one of the reasons I have to drive an hour here. I pray for them on my way home. My wife prays for them when I get home. There really isn't anything that we could do, that I could do down here without prayer.
It's not the concrete that gives Hope Street its foundation. I think parents need to understand it is also him holding on to the hands of Jesus Christ that gives Hope Street its foundation.
I really, after all these years, gotta admit, I never thought I'd find someone as good as Perry Brown is at conveying the word and talking to people. It's great to know you really met someone and you're around someone that cares that much.
My relationship with Christ has to be first at all times, and that's one of the things Perry taught me. Family, work, everything else is secondary. But if I have a strong walk with Christ, I know that everything else will follow along exactly the way it should. God blessed me with the opportunity to be the general manager of a machining company up in Fredonia, Wisconsin. I love the community I live in. I love the people I work with. Every day I thank God for the opportunity when I wasn't sure that I'd ever have an opportunity like this again. I think going forward that I want to give back to the church, to the community, and certainly to Hope Street at some point in my life.
I know that God has a place for all of us to be. For me, it was Hope Street. For you, I don't know where it is, but if you follow, if you listen, He'll show you, and He'll take you, and He'll equip you, and He'll bless you. Way, way, way more than you'll ever imagine.
All right, that was great. All right, how about, why don't you guys do a nice, warm, fuzzy group hug? How about one of those?
Oh, come on. Really? This is a men's conference, man.
Right. You know, I think all serious to you.
That's great. I was only kidding, but that's great. Got it.